We get into a topic where students tend to have, once again, problems with organization, but like we've done the entire time, the more organized that you are with your thoughts, the more methodically you can go through the material, and the more number of times you do this, then it becomes part of your reflex. And this brings us to the concentration of urine. And with this lecture series, we'll be getting into issues of ADH, either too much or too little. At first, let's say that you have a patient that is deprived of water. The best thing to do before you go through all of these chronological order, you want to pay attention and predict as to what you can expect in your patient. Once you've done that, then you take a look at the chronology, and all of it will make sense. You deprive your patient of water. What does that mean to you? It means that your plasma osmolarity is going to increase, doesn't it? Once your plasma osmolarity increases, then the osmoreceptors by the hypothalamus will be triggered, and you'll be releasing your ADH. That ADH then runs down to the collecting duct, works to then insert these aquaporins via V2 receptors so that you can reabsorb that water, so that you can bring that plasma osmolarity back down to normal. Right? So in essence, that's exactly what this illustration is showing you. Deprivation of water, increased plasma osmolarity. What happens next? Operative word, stimulation of your osmoreceptors. Next, you increase ADH. That ADH will then run down to the collecting duct. It will work through V2 receptors. It will then insert the aquaporins so that you reabsorb water purely. As you do so, it then causes urine osmolarity to do what? Increase. Good. And by removing the water and putting it into the plasma, it's bringing the plasma osmolarity back to normal. Response to water drinking. This is the opposite scenario. So even though the graph might look similar, the starting event, completely the opposite of what we just discussed. Here, let's say that you're drinking water. Then what happens to your plasma osmolarity? Almost immediately, it drops a little bit. So now your plasma osmolarity is low, so therefore tell me about those osmoreceptors. They are not going to respond because there's no osmolarity to attend to. So therefore what happens to ADH release? It is suppressed. If there's no ADH, then as far as your urine is concerned, you tell me, is it dilute or concentrated? If the ADH isn't working, then the fluid within the collecting duct is then going to be, in fact, diluted urine. So therefore, your urine osmolarity would be good, decreased urine osmolarity. Now, if you're not going to then reabsorb that water, then you can expect your plasma osmolarity to come back up toward normal. This is in essence the overall mechanics of ADH in response to plasma osmolarity. Now, ADH has three major actions on the renal tubule. This we've talked about plenty. On the principal cells, in addition to aldosterone, it has the ability through V2 receptors to put in those aquaporins so that you can then bring out the water. But, take a look at it. Look at this. Remember that sodium potassium 2 chloride? Where are you? That sodium potassium 2 chloride cotransporter? It is located on a thick ascending limb, right? And what does that have to do with ADH, Dr. Raj? Well, a lot, actually. Do you remember those diseases called Barter and Gittleman? You're bringing them up again? Yes, I am. And the reason that I'm bringing up now, specifically, which one of these diseases have we discussed that results in dysfunction of that sodium potassium 2 chloride cotransporter? Good. Barter. And so therefore, if you knock out this symport or cotransporter, you've lost the ability to do what? To properly concentrate. Do you remember that? If you don't properly concentrate, then please understand, you've also lost the ability to properly dilute. If you don't properly dilute, where is your diluting segment? Going up the thick ascending limb and really moving up towards a distal convoluted tubule, huh? So that's your diluting segment. If you can't properly concentrate, you sure as heck can't properly dilute. And as far as its ability way down in the collecting duct for providing an environment for ADH to work properly, may then be impeded. And we pretty much saw that both with the diluting ability in both the Gittleman and Barter, if you remember correctly. But here, understand that symport is absolutely required for proper functioning of the ADH later on down in the collecting duct. What else does ADH do? Now, this is important. Many students end up forgetting about this. The last time we've even talked about urea was rather insignificant, right? So no one likes to feel insignificant, that's for sure. Here, urea, with the help of ADH, in the medullary collecting duct, where are you? Way down deep in the kidney, medullary collecting duct. ADH, well, sure, it brings out water, but what do you know about water? How do you move water? Osmosis. Has to be. There's no way that you can move water without osmosis in the body. Do you understand that? So tell me as to what kind of gradient this is. It's moving from low, listen, it's going from low solute concentration to high solute concentration, isn't it? Good. So what is this solute? That water is following in the collecting duct, the urea. Okay? So ADH, its third and final function really to assist in reabsorption of water is going to be the fact that it actually places urea into the interstitium, thus creating an osmotic gradient to then reabsorb the water. 1, 2, and 3. 3 major actions of ADH.